Aloha. I fed all the street cats and gave them fresh water. It's Saturday morning football. I'm from Austin, Texas, and everyone in Austin is obsessed with football. Not everyone, but more than enough to make things awkward. The Texans Longhorns are playing Alabama, and it's a rematch of the championship from 2010. I was actually a full-time student the last time these two teams played, but I didn't go to that game. I didn't go to any games the 4 years I went to school there. I remember telling this gorgeous girl named Candace when she asked if I wanted to go to a game, I told her I didn't want to sit in the stands. I felt I deserved to stand on the sidelines. I worked outside the stadium for a few football games selling Longhorn merchandise, but I never went to an actual game. I once watched one from the Fine Arts Library. I was basically on the roof. It was during my first year at UT, one of the hardest times of my life because I was also homeless. My financial aid only covered tuition that first semester, and that particular morning I remember feeling dirty and sticky. I had been trying to sleep all night at Waller Creek. The last thing I wanted to do was sit next to a bunch of young students. I was 27 years old and older than 98% of all the other undergraduates. They made it to the championship game my last year there, the last time they played Alabama, and I remember cheering against the Longhorns. I didn't want to see all my classmates act like they just won the lottery. The Longhorns starting quarterback in that game, Colt McCoy, he faked an injury, at least that's what I believe, because it was his last college game, and the worst thing he could have done to affect his late round draft status was to play against one of the best defensive of all time, the 2010 Alabama. The best thing Colt McCoy could have done to protect his draft status and tens of millions of dollars was to fake an injury on one of the first plays, and that's exactly what happened. It worked in Colt's favor because he spent the last 10 years as a millionaire backup quarterback in the NFL who has barely ever even played. He's maybe played a few games in a decade. It took me years to understand that I don't fit in, and I shouldn't always try to fit in. However, my uniqueness is what has brought me success in life. And the last few years, I see how much of an advantage it is to be, quote unquote, a horse of a different color. Emma Stone, the actress, doesn't really fit the typical Hollywood mold of a starlet. And once she said, what sets you apart can sometimes feel like a burden, but a lot of times it's what makes you great. Maya Angelou said, if you are always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be. And those ring true to me now more than ever. I've gave up on trying to fit in anywhere, and I'm just going to be myself. If you want to hear more about my story, about going to school at University of Texas, check out my book, Gonzo Education. It's available on Amazon.